They also get these Instagram ads that say something like, oh, we are a non-alcoholic bar in LA and we serve a drink that really works. It's Kava. But what even is Kava? Well, you might be familiar with some of Kava's relatives because it's a plant from the pepper family. And this drug, or this drink specifically, is made from the roots of this plant. And it's not even a new drug. It's traditionally used in the Pacific as a social and ceremonial drink. And it grows natively in Oceania and is considered endemic to the area. Now, the psychoactive molecules in Kava are called kavalactones. And kavalactones are a central nervous system depressant, which means that they have sedating effects. And there are actually many different cultivars of the plant with different effects depending on the ratios of the kavalactones the plant has. One huge distinction is actually between noble and non-noble varieties. And for your drink, you'd ideally want to have the noble one because the non-noble one actually has more side effects. The effects also kind of differ according to what method of administration you choose, as it does with any other drug. And as with other plant substances, you can get it as a powder, in capsules, as extract or drops, and people make drinks directly from the powder or chew the roots. Traditionally, people just take the roots and just smash it with coconut milk or water and then drink it. We currently know 18 different kavalactones and 15 of those have some psychoactive properties, although 6 of them are attributed the majority of the effects. This would be methystysine, dihydromethystysine, cavain, dihydrocavain, desmethoxyyangonin, and yangonin. Sorry if I mispronounce any of these, but I tried really hard. And the pharmacological actions we know about are enhanced ligand binding to GABA-A receptors, reduction of norepinephrine and dopamine reuptake, interaction with the CB1 receptor, and monoamine oxidase B reversible inhibition. Although kavalactones do not directly bind to the GABA receptors, unlike some other drugs that interact with the GABA system, such as benzos. Potentiation of the GABA receptors is usually associated with anxiolytic effects, and common effects also include stuff such as euphoria, sleepiness, local numbness in your mouth and throat, and appetite reduction. So naturally, some people use it for stress relief, anxiety, and insomnia, and it can help you relax your muscles. And I also found studies that found anti-thrombotic, neuroprotective, and anti-convulsant properties. Now, common side effects are also common effects, which is drowsiness and fatigue, nausea, loss of muscle control and muscle weakness, reduced coordination, mild fever, and dilated pupils. There have also been cases of rashes and vision impairment, and it is possible to have an allergic reaction. Long-term use can lead to weight loss, mood swings or apathy, breathing difficulties, and dry skin. And actually, the skin condition even has a name. It's called Kava dermatopathy, and it's just flaky, dry, peeling skin on your back, hands, and soles of your feet. And to be fair, you have to consume quite a lot of Kava to experience this, and I found at least 30 grams per week. I also found information that it is supposed to be hepatotoxic, but according to this WHO report, hepatic adverse reactions are rare. And of course, more research is necessary, but it's important to know about this information because the reason many countries actually banned Kava in the early 2000s is because they deemed it hepatotoxic, which might not be entirely true. But as with any other substance, the dose is the poison and moderate consumption is an acceptably low level of health risk according to the World Health Organization. Unless you have liver disease history, then you probably shouldn't experiment with Kava. And unfortunately, Kava was pretty much ignored by science for a long time, so we lack data about safety and dosage. Most capsules range from 50 to 100 milligrams with the recommended maximum daily dose of 250 milligrams, but traditionally you would mix the ground bark or root with water and coconut milk and drink it, and it's actually recommended to do the traditional way, not the extracts. And as with any other drug consumed by your digestive system, it can take longer to feel the effects, and serum levels peak about 2 to 3 hours with a half-life of 9 hours. And as with any other drug, Kava raises some concerns mainly about safety, and not only because of Kava itself, but also because of the agents used in the lab processes, and because the lab preparation of the powder allows for extraction of compounds that can be toxic and are not present in traditional drinks and might miss some protective molecules such as glutathione. The difference might be caused, for example, by using acetone in the manufacturing process. And there's also some concern about the quality of the supplements and safety concerns such as using plants affected by mold. So even though the World Health Organization is not fazed by Kava itself, it advises against consumption of ethanolic or acetonic cavalactone extracts. So if you are interested in Kava, maybe try finding a water-based suspension or a powder, and selling the extracts is even prohibited in some places such as Australia. And apart from checking the quality of the product you're about to consume, you should also be concerned or aware of any drug-drug interactions you might have. And it doesn't even matter if it's a prescription or non-prescription drug. As a rule of thumb, when you're experimenting with drugs or when you're using drugs, it's always good to limit the drug combinations that you use, or at least check beforehand if we have any information on that specific combination. Sometimes it's not only the dose that makes the poison, but also the combination. So you might want to stay away from alcohol when drinking Kava, as both of these drugs have sedating effects and might potentiate, which could lead to physical and mental negative side effects. And in fact, you want to stay away from any CNS depressants such as benzos and barbiturates, because the combination just might off you completely. And just to remind you, CNS depressants are not drugs that will make you depressed. They are drugs with sedating and relaxing effects. And specifically, if you take levopoda for Parkinson's, there's some evidence that there's this negative interaction between Kava and levopoda, so stay away from Kava if you are on any drugs that treat Parkinson's. And WHO also does not recommend taking Kava with antipsychotic, anxiolytic, or antithrombotic drugs. But as I said, Kava bars are popping up outside of Pacific area, and in many countries, Kava, or at least some form of Kava, is legal. In the US, I found that Kava is banned in Wisconsin, and 8 other states impose some form of restriction, and some restrictions also apply in Canada, as you can only import some small amount of Kava for personal use. And I read so many websites that promise that Kava is completely legal in Europe or in the European Union, but that's simply not true. In the European Union, Kava is not approved for human consumption, so you can still buy Kava for, collection purposes or as textile dyes, but not for human consumption, so don't expect Kava bars popping up in Europe. This actually creates this gray market where you can buy Kava and no one is going to check what you do with it. They're not going to, the police is not going to knock on your door and say, "What's in your drink? Oh my god, is this the textile dye or the collectible item you bought?" Straight to prison. But it's this gray market that is sort of similar to, for example, what you have for kratom in Czechia, so not for human consumption, but you can still buy it and do whatever you want with it. Which sucks. And don't get me wrong, I don't think that Kava or kratom should be banned, but I do think that this gray area is harmful because it fails to protect anyone. People can still use the drug, and it's majorly harming the consumer because these collector items or textile dyes don't have safety regulations on the same level as consumable items do. Plus, you also want to prevent teenagers or children from buying Kava products, so it would make sense to just sell it in a specialized shop, adult-only shop. And in fact, Czechia is currently working on a law that would enable exactly that, which I think is a step in the right direction. So hopefully the law will pass, and then Czechia will have these specialized shops with HHC products and kratom and Kava, potentially. And it's an adult-only shop, which I think would improve the situation. But with this in mind, what do you think about Kava? Do you have an experience with it? Let me know in the comments, I'd love to read about it. And I hope you learned something new and interesting, and thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye!